And this is the AFA Today broadcast coming to you from the shadow of the Freedom Tower just north of the Trinity Church in New York City. Lower Manhattan is where we come to you from every single day. Kevin McCullough is my name, and just honored to be at this microphone. Such an honor, given that this is where Brother Don Wildman started the AFR story years ago, and to be carrying on, and to not just be carrying on, but to be trying to be the tip of the spear into the culture that we are living in and placed in. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your life each day at this same time. Kevin McCullough is my name. My phone number is 888-589-8840, and someone who is joining us in the studio, although it is in the Tupelo, Mississippi AFR studios, is John Irwin, who is associated with one of the producers of Mom's Night Out. And John, it is a pleasure to have you with us here on AFA Today. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's been a crazy journey of releasing the film and promoting it, but so great to see people's response to it. And so I'm tired, but I'm encouraged and I'm inspired by the stories from the fans, and it's just been great.
I can only imagine that is in fact the case. Last week I had your two stars right here in the studio with us, and we sat down for an hour and had a great conversation, John. And here's the part of what this whole controversy is that I don't get. My business partner is Stephen Baldwin. We run a small media company here in the metro New York area. I have Sean Astin in studio with me. We've got a great discussion going. I go to see the media screening on Tuesday night. It opens on Friday night. My wife went to a women's-only screening on Thursday night. And everybody that I have personally seen, witnessed, talked to, interacted with that has gone to see your movie, Mom's Night Out, come away going, wow, not only is that a great piece of storytelling, considering that it's a faith-oriented, faith-based film, and they still tend to put those parentheses around faith-based films, which is unfortunate, but they're impressed by that. But they come away going, I felt so affirmed.
Yeah.
Particularly the moms that I spoke with, particularly My Lovely Bride. I felt so affirmed in that movie. They saw themselves in the characters. When I got this list yesterday of the Village Voice and the New York Daily News and the others that have written these reviews, John, I'm wondering if they even saw the actual film. How do you explain the fact that so many women can go see this film, come away with one obvious conclusion that it's embracing and hugging on them?
That's right. And
these female reviewers come away with something completely different.
Well, that's the point, and that is why I'm speaking out, because I think a lot of people are. And I'll get to that in a second. But yes, the beauty of the film, there's 1.3 million people talking about the movie on Facebook, and just there's too many. I mean, there's thousands of comments of exactly what you just said. The main comment is, "This is my story." I just read through, and there's 5 or 6 of them, of how did you have cameras in my house? And I feel so affirmed. I feel so important. Thank you for giving a voice to moms like me, was one I just read. It was very uplifting and all these things. So yes, on Rotten Tomatoes, 86% audience approval. And look, critics are critics. Disney said it best. We're not trying to entertain the critics. I'd rather make my movies for the people. And I totally agree with that. Having said that, there was an article that in USA Today this morning where Kirsten Powers asked the question, will the liberal thought police come for you? And she says, welcome to the Dark Ages Part 2. We've slipped into an age of unenlightenment where you fall in line behind the mob or face the consequences. And I just think that there is an alarming double standard. And again, they're here to critique the film. Say whatever you want to about me. Say whatever you want to about my movie. But when you say, like Christy Roger Ebert says, it's depressingly regressive and borderline dangerous.
Right.
Because it peddles archaic notions of gender roles. You're not talking about the film anymore. You're talking about the worldview of the film. And at no point in the film do we condone, or does the stay-at-home mom character say everybody should be like me? Not at all. In fact, there's working moms. There's one of the main characters is a single mother, and they're all helping each other. They're all encouraging each other. And moms love it for that reason. All the moms that have seen it in their various roles. But when you call the film unabashedly anti-feminist, and in this one says that Allison's lack of a profession consigns the character into Eisenhower-esque irrelevance, you've just offended my wife and tens of millions of women just like her. And to me, what I love about the article in the USA Today is there is just a blatant hypocrisy in our culture, and I feel like it's time for me to speak because I work in entertainment, and I've been in Hollywood with groups of conservatives that tell stories about losing their jobs, literally losing their jobs, being berated, being made fun of, being bullied. And we've really got to talk about this word tolerance, because in a nation where we talk about and we say we champion these issues like anti-bigotry, anti-bullying and tolerance, they are not being modeled when it comes to the conservative Christian family.
Well, what we clearly understand in America is that tolerance is a one-way street.
That's right.
It's not been a two-way transaction for quite some time.
That's right.
And it really just means forced conformity to the left and to what progressives have to say.
And even throwing politics aside, is this the nation we want to live in? Where we're scared. I mean, in Hollywood right now, if you're a conservative, you're underground and you're terrified of losing your job.
Yeah.
For simply having a belief system and have a worldview that, by the way, is not hurting anyone. So to me, that is a blatant double standard and should be discussed, and we should really start talking about this. And for me, yes, there's consequences for me to say things like this, but I think that the truth is the truth and the truth has no agenda. And we've got to, I applaud Kirsten for this article. It's very brave. And she says, don't bother trying to make sense of what beliefs are permitted and which ones will get you strung up in the town square.
Well,
our ideological overlords.
It's easy for Kristen to say that it's confusing because she's a registered Democrat, and so she's one of the few conscientious registered Democrats that are left. In public debate.
And she says,
but she's saying it's not really hard to discern. There's actually a very clear thread as to which viewpoints are the most threatening, and those are the ones that align with eternal truths and biblical sanctity.
That's
and
right.
As long as you're on the other side of that, again, tolerance is a one-way street. You can't have it. He's John Irwin. He was a producer of October Baby and also Mom's Night Out, which is just out. And John, I want to ask you a follow-up. There was speculation in the people that I spoke with yesterday, and I think I was the first person on this network to be talking about this, but I had several conversations with people in the industry, and there was great speculation that there might even be a pseudo-coordinated effort in the release of these reviews to try to kill your film. Do you hold to that, or what's your position?
All I'm saying is I have no idea. I mean, to me, I'm just pointing out a blatant inconsistency. And I don't know. I was surprised that it was, again, if this was one or two reviews, that's one thing, but it was mostly all of them. And again, say anything you want to about the film. I remember, the first critique from Roger Ebert on my first film, October Baby, and this was, believe it was written by Roger Ebert before he passed away. And he said, Rachel Hendricks' performance is surprising and Jasmine Guy is just superb. And I'm like, wow, he just praised my movie. Then he said the directing's terrible and the writing's terrible. And I thought, wow, I've just been like literally roasted and praised by Roger Ebert. That's so cool. I don't mind what you say about the film, but this is a blatant double standard. Again, and that's what she says. She says, if you attack Islam, that's insulting, and yet insulting Christianity is sport. And to me, when you look at some of these reviews, and Christy, the same person that says it's depressingly regressive and borderline dangerous, which is a critique of the worldview of my film, and then she says that all the humor, and this is another review, and humanity that made Nymphomaniac Volume 1 such an unexpectedly rich and enjoyable experience. Okay, that's a double standard. I mean, that movie is an unrateable movie,
right,
that features graphic and violent depictions of things that are just wrong, and
like the sexual subjugation of women.
That's right.
Which you would think, on some level, with the modern woman and the modern feminist worldview, there would be no place for, and yet they praise that which seemingly would put them into actual bondage, while mocking something that millions of women find completely gratifying and satifying, and that is loving their families.
Yeah, again,
it's such an ironic
backwards.
Opposite world.
It's so backwards, and to me, yes, if you're going to label my movie sexist, well, then let's talk about real sexism and exploitation in entertainment, which is the backbone of a lot of entertainment. And you're talking about a person in a position of power reinforcing a stereotype that is the definition of sexism. Well, then the most pervasive and the most damaging stereotype is the objectification of women. And you have, in that movie that she just referenced, a middle-aged director being paid a lot of money to exploit women,
right,
for profit. and nobody's talking about that. That's sexism. And so to me, we live in a very
misogyny.
It is, and we live in a very backwards world.
Yeah.
And literally right now, there was an actress that was on an HBO show that refused to perform scenes because as she was performing them, she felt endangered and abused, and she said she wouldn't do it anymore. And so, what is the network doing? Are they issuing an apology to her? Are they firing the director of the episode where she felt that way? No, the production company is suing her for damages for disrupting production. They're going to ruin this girl's life because she said, as a woman, I feel that I'm in danger and I feel that this is abusive and needs to stop, and her life is getting ruined. So that's how backward the entertainment industry is, and I think it's time that I might be looked at some director that's coming after the critics. I'm not coming after the critics on the basis of the film, but I am coming after the fact that we've got to start talking about tolerance. If they say they believe in anti-bullying and tolerance, it's time they model it to conservative Christians, to stay-at-home moms, to people. We just want to live our lives and live
He's
our
John
lives
Irwin.
free.
I'm Kevin McCullough. John, let me ask you, because we're coming up to the end of this segment, I want to make sure I get this question in because it's kind of key to the success of what we want to do going forward. Congratulations, by the way, just a little over 1,000 screens, 7th place at the box office last week. You had to feel good about that.
I feel great. I mean, we've passed today, the entire box office run of October Baby, our first film. Obviously, the kind of economics you want, for instance, a movie like Noah is about $100 million in box office, but it cost 120. That's not really the box. Right. So this one cost about $4.5 million, and we've passed that already in box office in 4 days.
That's incredible.
That's the kind of economics that you want.
With these bad reviews, obviously there's going to be a temptation by the reviewers to try to dissuade people. Second week is almost more vital than week one.
Yeah.
What's the strategy? Are you expanding the number of theaters? And obviously, we want people to go see it. Even if they saw it last week, go see it again this week.
I'll tell you this: we have about 1,050 screens. We've added 2 or 3 more screens, but Sony is going to expand the release next weekend, and so and based off this weekend's numbers. So yes, I'm inviting everybody. Let's go champion our way of life. They might not understand it, they might mock it, but film is a democracy, and your movie ticket is your vote. So I invite everybody, come out, celebrate a comedy. It's a hysterical movie, but it praises and affirms moms in a society that obviously puts them down. And statistically, stay-at-home moms are actually more depressed than working moms and singles. And is there any wonder when this is how they're treated on the public square? I mean,
and I got to say, there's a lot. And I told Sean this when he was in the studio with me, and I told Sarah the same thing. Sarah Drew and Sean Astin were in the studio a week ago, and I said, guys, what I love about this film is you lift up all the stuff that's necessary. You show how difficult it is for moms. You deal with the frustrations that they go through and the little things that still weigh on them, even when they're trying to get a break for themselves. But you didn't make the dads look stupid.
Yeah.
And the family, the nuclear family, still obviously has a tremendous strength in this. And then, of course, I don't want to give the spoiler away, but when the Trace Atkins scene towards the end of the film talks about, and it's the only time that faith is really overtly brought into the discussion, you come away with an emotional, heart-wrenching moment out of this extremely well-written, witty comedy. And it is a very enjoyable, on any level, film experience. So, John, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Sophomore project to your October Baby initial one, and we're just going to be pulling for you. If there's anything else we can do, let us know. We want to help. But go see Mom's Night Out this weekend. That's what I got to tell people.
Please do. Thank you so much. God bless you, man.
John Irwin here with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. We're so glad you're with us. Coming up next, another little project we need your help with. This time showing some love to someone else. And we'll tell you about it next here on AFA Today on AFR Talk.